Good afternoon. Today's Thursday, August 24th. I haven't done a video in a while. I thought I would do a quick update. We're down in Steamboat Island, Washington, near Olympia. Wife had to run a little errand, and so I thought I'd do a quick video since I hadn't done one in a while. We've got about 37 days until we take off in our motorhome, towing this Jeep that I'm sitting in. I don't do very many videos. I haven't had a whole lot of stuff to video yet, but anyway, a few quick updates. I did get my Jeep set up to flat tow with a Roadmaster Nighthawk setup. Had that done locally up in Sequim, Washington. Was not cheap. These things are not cheap, depending on what you need done. Base plates are $400 or $500. Wiring kits, if you want to do it right and have an OEM style wiring kit to hook up to all your lights so that you're not cutting and splicing wires in a nice new vehicle, those are about $100. Depending on if you want to do it yourself. I normally would have done something like this myself, but because we moved from San Diego up here to Washington just temporarily for fun for 6 months, I don't have a lot of my tools. I do have a big garage where we're living, but kind of lacking tools. So this time around, and for this type of thing, I opted to pay a professional to do it. Fortunately, I found a shop here in Washington that does a lot of this flat towing. Next, I have to get the air brake system hooked up. That'll be another large chunk of money. But anyway, these things all in, just for knowledge, to set up a vehicle to flat tow. If you buy all new equipment, base plates and Air Force One braking systems and all that, they can end up being, between $3,000 and $5,000. It just depends. So these are not things that are cheap. They are costly. Sometimes you can find a used motorhome maybe where they'll throw in the towing stuff, but in my case, that wasn't the case. The motorhome I bought used that I'd mentioned before, a 2015 Integra Anthem, it had actually never been set up for flat towing. The first owner did tow a small tow dolly occasionally, but that was about it. Anyhow, we'll be leaving in, like I said, 37 days, heading out of the Olympic Peninsula in Washington and heading down towards San Diego, going through Oregon, down through Brookings, Coos Bay, all along the coast there, Fort Bragg, Mendocino in California, and heading down the coast. That was quite an experience. I did pay for and downloaded the RV Trip Wizard, which a lot of other channels talk about that. It is a good program. It's worth every penny of the $40 or $50. If you're a member of FCMA, you can get a discount for half off. That is going to prove to be an invaluable resource. RV Trip Wizard. I don't have any affiliation with them, but finding out that is a great resource. It's helped a lot. You plug in where you want to go. It'll pull up all the parks. It's, like I said, very helpful. They have phone numbers on their maps, pictures, reviews. That has been a great asset. Anyway, once we get to Southern California, we'll be staying for about a month in the San Diego County area, visiting with family, my wife's family down there. And then we're going to be taking off. I'm sure by the time we get to San Diego, we'll have our our wings, so to speak. We'll have been traveling for probably 5-6 weeks by then, and we'll have stayed at probably 4 to 5 different campgrounds for a week or so each. I've tried to mix up the campgrounds. Some of them are resorts, some of them are just RV parks, some of them are they're all RV parks, but most of them are pretty nice. They have most of the facilities, and of course they have all the hookups. I don't intend to really do any dry camping. Boondocking will be a very occasional thing if we need to do that. But You know, my preference, and I'm sure my wife, is to have full hookups. Take advantage of the rig we bought. It's set up to be comfortable. Really looking forward to that. Got a big garage sale coming up to get rid of the last few items that we took with us that we no longer need. And then we'll be taking off in our trip. I'll try to keep a video coming every week as we get closer. It's kind of it makes us nervous. We've always lived in a house, you know, or a condo, whatever. This will be a totally new experience. I'm not really thrilled about towing my Jeep behind a motorhome. It's a brand new Jeep, basically, that I do love, take good care of it. It's a diesel Willys. I waited months when I ordered it. So that was kind of interesting. And now it's going to be, you know, rolling down the road hooked to a 45,000 pound motorhome. So that'll be a new experience. Anyway, when I get to my first campground, which is down in Salem, Oregon, in that general area, or actually between Salem and a little closer to the coast, I'll probably do a video of that campground because I don't see any really good reviews that are current for the campground. I really wish more people would do good, simple reviews of these campgrounds and basically tell you, was it easy access? Are there really spaces for big rigs like 40 feet and more? You know, how much does it actually cost? Was it clean? Was it what you expect? I mean, a lot of these campgrounds and RV parks will have pictures on their website, and you start digging a little closer and you notice the pictures are 4 or 5 years old. You know, they're taken during the winter when the ground is all green, and then you arrive and everything's brown. It's in disrepair. It looks to me, or seems like, a lot of these places had a lot of problems during COVID and don't know how well they've recovered, and some of them maybe haven't. So what I've been doing with that RV Trip Wizard is, as soon as I find a campground, I quickly go to Google Earth and pull up the location on Google Earth and look at the imagery, and then down in the left corner you'll get a date. And most of Google Earth, a lot of them are less than a year old. And so I found that's really helpful. And on Google Earth, there's a measuring stick or a little icon, and you can actually measure the distance of the width of the roads. You know, if they say the spaces are 60 feet long, you can actually measure them. I found personally that Google Earth measuring tool is extremely accurate. I mean, surprisingly accurate. I used to measure pieces of property with it and stuff with my previous job or my career before I retired, and found it to be highly accurate. And if you're in a big rig, either a big motorhome or possibly a big truck towing a big fifth wheel, knowing the sizes of these spaces and actually, you know, really measuring them and getting the truth before you get there is obviously going to be helpful. Can't imagine anything worse than getting to some place you reserved and finding out that the person in the office didn't tell you the correct information or whatever. We're trying our hardest to avoid some of these things and use all of the tools that are available now with the internet. That's about all I have for today. I'll probably do another video next week. I've done a few videos at our rental home. It's a pretty stunning location. We were real fortunate. It sits just above the Dungeness Wildlife Refuge, and we get a lot of ships going through there. I've done a few videos of cruise ships, which are fascinating to us. We've lived in San Diego, but never like right on the water. And so this was a neat new experience for us, and we are going to miss our home that we rented. We've been there for about 5 months, and we have a little over a month left. So we're trying to enjoy that. We'll be coming back up to the Olympic Peninsula area, even though our travels were intended to open our eyes about where else in the United States we could possibly live. We have been coming to the Olympic Peninsula in northern Washington multiple times over the last 15 to 18 years. And my wife does really like it up here, and I have a feeling that we'll end up probably buying some property and someday building a small house up here. But for me, I think I might want to live or have a place somewhere else. I don't know yet. I'm looking at RV lots possibly for a home base in case something goes sideways again with our society, or you know, who knows what's going to happen. Anyway, I do enjoy doing these little videos. It gives me a chance to yak a little bit. And if you, you know, if you're interested, subscribe. I've said before, I'm not really doing this to become a YouTube channel. I'm kind of doing it more for a few people I used to know, quite a few coworkers, you know, I had over a 33-year period that were kind of fascinated about what we were planning on doing. And so I mentioned to them a year and a half ago when I retired that I was going to maybe set up a little YouTube channel and keep my videos going, so they'd kind of know just for fun where I was going, what I was doing, kind of what I used to do with other people I knew. I do follow several full-time RV channels. I really enjoy them. I usually sit down on Sunday evening and go through the the 2 or 3 that I follow. They've given me a lot of information that I've used to, you know, gather together the things that I actually really need, like a surge protector and a water regulator and, you know, covers for my tires. Some of that stuff's common sense, but some of them are things you don't really think about. Just little things you don't think about that you don't want to be caught off guard. One of them, for example, which is for really glamping, but a lot of these parks have cable hookups for TV. And, you know, most people don't carry a 20-foot roll of coaxial cable with the, you know, the proper connectors on each end. That's something I'm going to get. They're only, you know, 10 or 15 bucks, but some of these parks have TV, and I do occasionally like to watch TV, so I want to make sure I have that. That would have been something I would have never thought of to have until I would have got to the first park. Possibly, you know, making sure you have enough sewer hose. You know, 10, 20 feet may not be enough. Some of these parks I was reading that we're looking at, you park, you know, normally they'd be on the, you know, the driver's side of the rig, and the sewer connections were, you know, on the opposite side, and so you'd have to run the hose underneath and then connect. And, you know, most of the hoses that people have may not be long enough, so that's something to think about. You know, clean water hoses, filters, all those little things. It's always better to be over-prepared than under-prepared. And those are the kind of things that I've been kind of working on over the last few weeks to make sure. I'm sure there's something we'll forget. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and end this video. I'm sitting in my Jeep, like I said, waiting for my wife, and it's getting a little warm. You probably see my face turning red. Anyhow, I'll make another video next week. If you're interested, subscribe. If you have any, you know, want to reach out in any way for any questions about my rig or what we're doing, there's email attached to my channel. I don't know how all that works yet. I'll have to figure out.